to proceed with Ms. Porter's as they're already here.
Yep.
But,
I'm going to call a meeting to order. I think everybody's on that's going to be on, other than the one applicant, so you know who's on. As we did last time, which worked pretty well, I will do my best. You can always try to jump in, no problem. But what I'll try to do is make sure I go around a couple of times and ask everybody to make sure they've had an opportunity to have input. Hearing that the applicant for 99 Main Street is not yet available, by hearing no objections, we'll move to item number 2 on the public hearings part of the agenda. And let's see, Jim Calciano, do you have the notice, or do you?
I do have the notice.
Could you read the notice for Ms. Porter's, please?
Yes, Ms. Porter's school application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to install new lampposts, sign, sidewalk, and paved driveway to Crisp Gym on Porter Road.
So before I let the applicant present, I just want to point out, I think, well, I know there's at least one person who wasn't here last time. So we had an application that we did act upon at our last meeting for the driveway. The loop that is going to be constructed, extending the current driveway and making a loop, and the additional parking that was approved at our last meeting. At that meeting, there were some additional items which were kind of brought in, but we felt that we needed a little more information, maybe a little more time, make sure they're on the agenda in case any of the neighbors or anybody else would like to comment on it. And accordingly, the applicant was willing and did come back with an additional application for the items that Jim just read. And with that, we'll ask the applicant to state their name and address and present their application.
Hello, this is Katie Bradley. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I was not sure. Katie Bradley. I'm here today representing Miss Porter's school. Our main address is 60 Main Street, Farmington, Connecticut. And I'd like to start with saying thank you very much for hearing all of this and doing it online while we're still isolating. The first thing that I would like is on this loop road, you will see in my drawing number 1, it's circled in red and it said we'd like to add 2 lampposts. There are currently existing lampposts at the existing entrance to this driveway parking area. And with the new loop, we would like to add 2 more to that new section, which will be the entrance. So you will come down Porter Road and turn into the area where we're requesting 2 new lampposts. And we chose to have that as the entrance so that the cars are turning away from the neighbor's house, not exiting with their headlights right at the neighbor's house. So you'll turn in where that is, and we'd like to have 2 lampposts. You have already approved a lamppost on the corner of Main Street and Porter Road on both sides of Porter Road, and it was a dark sky compliant head that's slightly different than the existing fixtures on our campus. And so we are requesting permission to make the 2 new additional ones match, as well as the 2 that are there, all match the same dark sky compliant head that you have asked us to install on the corners of Porter and Main. And the head is in the application. Would you like me to just go on to number 2, or should we?
Why don't we look at the head, maybe, huh?
Okay. So this is the head. We are not adding the little pointy things on it on the side. Those are optional. And if you scan through the whole spec package, you'll see the head that doesn't have the little spiky things on the top. It has the one in the center, but not, there it is. It has that one in the center. If it's not exactly the same, it's almost exactly the same as the one that's at St. James Church.
Let, I think what makes sense, why don't we pause here? Let me go through the commissioners and see if anybody has any questions or comments. Just that way it's easier to stay focused when we're not all in the same room. So, and I'm just going to call in the order that I wrote down your names. That's the only reason you'll hear. So Liz, do you have any questions about the locations or the style of the lighting on the lampposts?
I don't.
Ted?
I don't.
Jim?
Just to reiterate, they're dimmable.
No, Jim, remember they said they aren't dimmable, but they are dark sky compliant and they only point down.
Down, okay, all right, that's right.
We couldn't find dimmable exterior anywhere, but
Okay,
they do point down. They will not broadcast sideways.
right. And the fact that you switch the entrance to go from right to left around as they come out, it won't affect lighting on that house across the street.
Correct. It was the plan all along to turn away from the house and exit on the original existing drive.
Yep, I'm good.
Holly?
No problem at all.
Okay.
Excellent.
Jay?
No, I think they'll look very nice.
Okay. And I have no further questions or comments. So why don't you go to your next item?
Okay. We'd like to add a small section of sidewalk there is a sidewalk on Main Street currently, and we would like to add a sidewalk along Porter Road to that existing drive. We are hoping that will prevent our students from jaywalking, and they will stay, they'll cross from the new dorm. Yes, that's the sidewalk. So they'll cross Porter Road when they're heading from the new dorm at 36 Main Street, and then take a right, as opposed to just, jaywalking and angling towards the gym. We're hoping this will provide them a good excuse to stay on a sidewalk and not try to cross at Porter Road in the middle of the street, which, as some of you know, is a cut through, and the traffic just flies through there. It's 7 feet, and 7 feet is what the existing sidewalk is on Main Street.
And it's going to go only in that space that you're showing on the...
Correct.
So there won't be any sidewalk across the loop, crossing the loop? Okay.
No.
Is that walk all on Porter property or town property?
Well, I don't really know where the town property, how far from the street does the town property?
It varies, but Mark, I think you would know more than me. But
Well, without a survey, Jim, I can't really tell you. If the work does occur on the town property, as it frequently does, the sidewalk permittee will have to be bonded.
right, okay. Normally it could be anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, so you can't tell. It all depends.
Okay. Well, if you look at the property, there is a kind of a drop and then a nice flat area that makes sense to put the sidewalk there. And that is a good 3 feet off of the street. So it gives you a little bit of that grass strip and then the sidewalk.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense because it makes people get off the road, and it certainly looks good. It adds to it, I think.
Jim, do you have any other questions or comments on this?
None from me, Holly.
Liz?
No, it definitely makes sense.
Ted?
Nothing from me.
And Jay?
Fine with me.
Yeah, and I have no further questions or comments. Okay. Next, Katie?
Okay, number 3, we'd like to pave a 10-foot wide drive. Currently, there is a mud/gravel drive off of Porter Road to the rear of the northern side of our Crisp Gym. There is a curb cut that exists now, And it's been there since the gym was built, the curb cut. Our guys drive back there to load and unload sports equipment and tables and chairs into the gym. And it's a muddy mess. And the fire marshal even recommended to us when we were talking about something else that it would be nice if we had it paved, because then we would plow it and it's part of the egress out of the gym. So if you could see I took some photographs just so that you could see that the curb cut is substantially wider. We are just asking, those are the lamppost pictures. Oh, that might have been it back there, sideways, the sideways one. Yeah, no, go down. I'm sorry, that wasn't it. No, that's sidewalk. Here we go. This is the curb cut is here, and the existing curb cut is 15 feet wide, and then the apron narrows to 12 feet. And we just want like the smallest, so that we could get trucks in and out without driving all over the grass.
How long is that, do you think? Oh, 12 and 15 feet, is that right? No.
Well, that's the width of the apron. That curb cut is 15, and then the,
That'd be about 30 feet, I think, yeah.
It's going to go all the way to the building then.
Right.
correct. The nice thing about it is that there is a big hedge there that I didn't really capture, but the opening is between the two trees, but on the right of both trees are large hedges.
Okay, Jay, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't. I don't have any questions.
Ollie?
No, I think it's a good idea, actually.
Jim? Jim?
Long time in coming. I think it's great. It's good.
Ed?
No questions.
Liz?
Nothing for me, thanks.
And I have nothing further as well. Is that it then? We've hit all three of your items?
There's 4.
Oh, so we have hit 3. We haven't hit the 4th. Go ahead.
There's a 4th one, and I think if you keep sliding, keep scrolling. No? I had a picture of the sign. There it is. So we are proposing a sign over at that new loop. We're not sure what the name of the loop is going to be, but we're not going to keep calling it the loop. And it will be a sign that is similar in style, exactly the same. It will say Miss Porter School on the top, and then underneath it will identify something about this entrance to the campus. But we haven't named it yet because we're hoping it's an opportunity for someone to want their name on the new driveway.
Ooh.
Just,
It's a naming opportunity. Any of you could, it could be the Holly Way or something.
I love it. I love it.
just to be clear, your ask, because obviously it's the critical part of this, is you want a sign with the same post that we're seeing here?
Same post, same. This is the same post that we have on our main Miss Porter School sign. This is the same post that we have on this sign, both the ones on Main Street, and we are asking to have this one exactly the same, but over on Porter Road, identifying the entrance to the new loop.
Would that go in the middle of the loop?
Well, I think we were thinking that it would go closer to the entrance, so that it's clear which way the
Sure.
the where to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. Liz, any questions or comments?
I like Liz's lane. No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
well, yeah, I'll have alumni development reach out to you.
Watch out what you ask for, Liz. Okay.
No, I think it definitely makes sense.
Ted?
No comments.
Jim?
I'm good.
Ollie?
Excellent. Thank you. All set.
Jay?
Yes, I like it. I like that they all match. I like the way they look, all the signs.
Okay. Is there anybody else on the call that would like to comment on any of these 4 items that we've just heard about?
There is no one, Jay.
Okay. Mark, do you have anything you would like to say or add?
Nope, I think Katie did a pretty good job describing what they're looking for.
Okay. In that case, could I get a motion to approve the application as submitted?
I'd be happy to move that we approve the application as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I
Second.
I heard Ted and or Liz.
Yes.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Opposed? Okay, I think that's unanimous. If for some reason you're abstaining or you're a no, let me know right now. Okay, so we're all set on that. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you all very much, and enjoy this beautiful weather.
It is gorgeous.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Katie.
Hi.
Mark, do we have the other applicant?
Well, I didn't want to stop paying attention to the screen, but they've asked me to give them a call, Jay. So if I can just mute myself for a minute while I reach out to them and try quickly to get them online, then but I'll be back to you shortly, if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Is Mark the only one that's left?
Yes.
Okay,
Everybody else should be here.
we're all
I'm
here.
here. Yeah.
How's everybody doing through this incredible time?
Oh, my goodness.
Getting boring, I tell you. It's getting boring.
We drove to New Hampshire yesterday. We had to pick up something, and all their stores, for the most part, are open.
Wow.
It was so different.
Not in Newport, it's still closed up.
Yeah.
I heard
Farmington as well?
Yes,
Yes.
I heard the same thing about Vermont, that a lot of things are opening up. They're allowing group sizes up to 20 or 25.
Wow.
They haven't had a new case, I heard, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, that's
The
good.
size of Vermont, the amount of cases here are less than Hartford County for the state, which is interesting. It's probably because it's so rural.
Yeah.
yeah. I know a few people from New York City who just kept driving in Vermont until they found a house. And they've been there since the beginning of January.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. We went to a state park, and there were probably, I don't know, 50 cars to go for a hike. Only 3 of them were from Vermont, and it was a
Right.
Vermont path. The rest were New York and a few Connecticut.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens at our beaches this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
open?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, I won't be going, that's for sure.
Me either. I'm not going anywhere.
Uh-uh.
Uh,
So is everyone having an assortment of face masks?
Yes, I do.
I had a new pink one come in today I'm excited about.
I just do the blue.
That's great.
Mark, are you back or any update?
Not yet.
I see him.
He's playing with the screen, right?
Yeah, he's playing with the screen, yeah.
I met with her today,
What?
Mrs. Howlett.
Oh, all right, we won't talk about that. Leave it all for the meeting. It is, I tell you one thing, it is so beautiful around here. I mean, as painful as it is to feel like you're in jail, if you will, but when you go for your walks, and it's just, we are so lucky to live in this area. It's just so gorgeous. Everybody's houses look great and the landscaping.
It is just a magical time.
The air is so clean, too.
You're right.
Yeah, I've said the same thing. We're very lucky to be where we are. And it does get you outside working on your lawn and getting things prettied up. I don't know. I've been outside. I love being outside.
It's gorgeous.
Holly, I saw they're painting your barn in the back.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. Oh, I should let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, we had some boards that had to be replaced, so they're just touching it up.
Yeah. And then this morning they did, when I was walking, they were doing all your front, cleaning it up and blowing all the stuff around. So they're
I
doing
hope
work.
they didn't blow it on you. So I'm not there to manage. But I'm grateful that they are taking care of the property for us. Now, we go back about once a week.
Are you in West Palm, Holly? Where are you?
No, we're at Stratton Mountain, Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm looking out at the ski trails, and they're still probably 80% covered in snow.
Wow.
Hard to believe, isn't it? And the leaves are just barely starting to come out. We are so far behind.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we're going to have feedback. So unfortunately, they can't make it on the line, so I'm going to have to provide some level of interpretation as we move forward. And if that's okay with you, we can try to get this accomplished. Just switch
I'm
over
with me.
here.
Yeah, let's see what works, Mark. I'll defer to you.
Okay. All right. So I've got my phone under the table so the feedback doesn't create a disturbance. So Mr. Howlett is listening to me as well as you. And I'm going to go through their application. And Robert, if I say something wrong, please chime in. And if the commission has any questions of you, I'll relay them if you can't hear them. So to the commission, here we have a picture of the existing conditions on the porch. This was, I guess, damaged in a storm a couple of years ago and is in need of repair. The house is at 99 Main Street, right at the corner of, is it Carrington Lane? Okay.
Yep.
So they're looking to replace this porch. There appears to be some sort of tin on the top with a gutter, and there's the support brackets that you can see. There's some existing patio around the base. The plans call, and okay, they're looking to replace the porch or the light as well, the lawn light as well. Okay, so the design is basic. The one that first came through had a very low rail, which I brought up to the building official. I haven't received a response from him yet, but I didn't know if it was quite what they were looking for. Now that I look at it, it does say 36 inches, but this is the design that they're proposing. There's a metal butt seam roof, as you can see.
Did it say 30 or 36 inches?
It says 36 inches here, but we'll see something different down below, and I'll ask for clarification. Okay, so here's an example of how the banister looks and the railing looks on the front of the house. And I believe that this is how they're trying to this is what they're going to try to reproduce on the side. Here's their existing light pole. Here's the proposed fixture that they want to put on the light pole. So you can see it appears to be a reproduction of some sort. Those wonderful white oak, those white plank floors. I noticed those. I had to comment on that. Okay, Robert, here's the siding. Can you tell me what type of siding you're proposing?
I have Alan, contractor right here. He's going to talk to you.
Okay, can the commission hear my phone?
I can.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's give it a shot. This is the contractor, Alan, and he's going to talk to you about the siding that we're looking at right now. Go ahead, Alan.
We're going to put on the original clapboard that's existing with the house. There's not much of it, but we're going to reframe the floor, and use fir flooring, which is original, and then the framing on the roof will be the original. You don't have plywood with a metal roof.
I think he's asking about the actual siding, the clapboard. It's gonna be fir, right? Is that what that is? Fir.
Yeah. And this beadboard here will be for the underside of the ceiling?
Exactly.
Okay?
And plywood will go on top of it, and then the metal roof will go on top.
What type of metal roof are you proposing? We don't have a sample here, but you did state that there'd be a sort of a seamed metal roof. Would it match something?
There should have been a picture, because we do have the catalog. There should have been one sent to you.
All right, let me scroll down a little bit. I may have not gotten.
The one that is shipped, that we sent is blue in color, but that's not what we're putting up. We're putting up brown.
Okay, it's not here in the packet. So it's pre-finished brown, you said?
Right.
Yes.
Is it a powder-coated finish?
Yes.
And it's a seamed metal roof, correct?
Right.
Okay, I think that's descriptive enough. Now I'm just going to go to the posts here. These posts are being proposed to sort of match the porch on the front of the house, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
No, there aren't other columns on our house.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at,
We took a picture of a house down the street.
gotcha, thank you. I should have known that's not your house.
The railing and the column, that's 37 Main Street, Farmington.
I should have known that. So the column that you're using, we have an example here of a round tapered Duracast column,
Yes.
fiberglass in construction.
Correct.
Is it fluted at all?
No.
Okay. So the commission is looking at what I'm looking and they see what you're proposing. Then finally, I want to clarify the rail. We have a rail as proposed on the house that you saw down the street. The lower part of the rail is 30 inches. I haven't heard back from the building official, but my concern is that the railing should be 36 inches. There's a couple of things that come into play. Is the deck itself, the porch itself, 30 inches or higher from grade?
No.
So yeah,
It'll be approximately 18 inches.
that's what it looked like. So technically, you don't require a railing at all if it's less than 30 inches. I don't agree with that, but that's building code. So if you, if the building official has an issue with this 30-inch railing, because I believe code is 36, then you might have to revert to a 36-inch railing. But would your plan then be to still try to emulate the railing with the exception of that dip that we saw at 37 Main Street?
We believe so, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't ordered the new railing, obviously.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right.
if that's not gonna pass, then yeah, we can modify it.
Okay. I'll let the commission take over then. Thank you.
This is Jay Bombara, the chairman. I'm going to call the commissioners who will ask you or have comments on what you proposed, and then we'll deliberate. So with that, Ted, do you have any comments or questions? And if you don't mind, could you comment on the materials as you see them, and whether you think that they will be appropriate in terms of both the look and feel of them in the.
Sure. I had a question on the siding. It wasn't clear to me what the siding was going to be made of. Is that just a standard clapboard siding, cedar?
Yes.
Okay.
There's,
So-
yeah, there's not much siding. There's, just a wedge on each end of the roof.
Okay.
The lower half is gonna be lattice all along the front. And, the fence is just, beadboard, right, or what do they call it?
No, we're gonna
Trim.
Yeah.
On the base of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be, composite.
So a vinyl composite for your fascia and, I guess, three-sided fascia?
Right.
Okay.
The beam box where the rafters sit on, that will be composite, white,
Well,
and then,
composite or PVC?
PVC, like an AZAC?
yeah, AZAC, correct.
AZAC, yes, PVC.
Okay. All right, well, then Jay asked that I comment on the other things. I think the ceiling is very appropriate for that kind of a house and use. The trim, PVC trim we've approved in other places, it's on my house and you can't tell the difference. The fir flooring is definitely traditional and appropriate. I think the columns are appropriate to what you're doing. I'm not in favor of the dipped railing. I think that's a little elaborate for that style house. I think a straight one would look better, and I believe that's what originally was on that porch, was a straight one.
I agree.
Okay, we can resubmit a detail on a railing, if that helps.
Well, I think you have one here. Hardly,
Yeah, the one on the blueprint, on the print,
okay.
shows a great rail.
36-inch balusters. You've got your lattice below. Would you describe the materials?
Yeah,
The lattice is gonna be.
it's gonna be all cedar.
Yeah, the balusters and the rail itself?
It's gonna be,
Oh, the balusters.
pine.
No.
Yeah, these railings will be pine. Unless you wanna go with composite.
I thought we were gonna do composite.
Okay, we'll go with composite. That's fine, yeah.
Hear that.
I think the vote here is composite.
For the rail?
Yeah.
Does the commission have any?
Is it AZAC again?
So the applicant has indicated that the railing material he would like to put on is a composite. Is there a brand name for the composite that you're choosing?
It's the Crown. Crown is the name of the company that makes them.
Are the balusters prefabricated, or do you cut them?
Everything, it's gonna be ordered in a section, so it'll be factory assembled.
Okay.
So-
I can send you a detail of a straight rail if that's what you need.
I think that's going to be a good idea because we can't see what's going on. And the biggest thing is to make sure that these balusters are solid, not plastic molded, not plastic railings, but a solid AZAC type baluster.
Yeah, and then, we agree, yeah.
No plastic.
So, if everything else, I'm not trying to push this along, but if everything else is in order, except for the railing, can we proceed, once we get a building permit? And then, the railing to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
hang on, please. Yep, hang on 1 minute, please.
All right, so this is Jay. So I think what you're asking, I think, and there's a commissioners that disagree with me. I think the fact that you're just going to have the railing go straight across the top without the dip will not require you to have to come back. We can approve that way now. So I don't think, and we haven't gone through everybody yet, but assuming there are no other issues, we'll be able to let you go subject to your building permit. Now, having said that, I'll also let Mark tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't think that we're going to make you come back to us if that's the only issue, is the railing being straight across rather than dipping.
My suggestion would be to, if the commission is, on board with that, would be to consider acting on the request for the certificate of appropriateness with the condition that the materials are, because they can apply for the building permit, the dimensions aren't going to change, but with the condition that those materials are reviewed via email and photographs, cut sheets, whatever the manufacturer provides, and approved by the commission by a proxy vote, majority proxy vote, and then they can get on with their life. And if it's not approved by the proxy vote, well, they're going to need to come back with another selection of material.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Okay, Ted, do you have any more comments or questions?
No, well, one last comment. I like the lamppost. I think that looks really nice, and I like the head that's going to be put on it. That's it.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, a few things. The lattice work, material, once again.
Cedar.
Okay.
Cedar, Jim.
All right. And then, as far as I can see, when I took a look at, I've been watching this house for some time with that porch, you're replacing that and reframing that whole roof, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hope.
We're going to demolish it right to the ground.
Okay. And you're putting in piers, I see. It's kind of interesting what I've done these decks before, and when you look at that being 18 inches, Mark is absolutely right. Railings are not required, and what sometimes people do, they don't put the railings, but they put some kind of either stone step all the way along, and you don't have to do a railing. But it's your design. It's up to you, and you can do whichever you want. But I do like the round columns and the new roof, the standing seam roof is fine. We've done that. You answered the lattice, PVC trim. I think that's all I got. But I'm curious as to what kind of a you can do a 3-pitch. I just saw the plans. So there'll be a 3-pitch. Yeah. Okay. That's all I have is that suggestion that you could do it. You could do it and I'm sure you can get away with the 30 inches because you're not required to have railings anyway. Why you wouldn't have them, I wouldn't know.
Okay, Holly?
I think everything that we've just discussed is most appropriate for that house. I'm very excited about it. And I think that the lamppost is stunning and historically correct to go with the property.
Okay, thank you. Jay?
Yeah, I think everything looks great. I'm anxious to see it finished and people working on it. Yeah, I think it's very exciting.
Oh,
Liz?
Okay.
All right. I have one comment. Sorry it took so long.
I get Liz, go ahead.
So I just had a question. Are you just replacing the lamp on the post or the entire post?
We're adding that. There is no post.
Okay. I thought you said it was replacements. Okay.
Oh yeah, the other one rotted out years ago.
Okay.
I think they drew a, maybe not.
I'm going to ask one question that's not something you're applying for, but it is part of the property, just out of curiosity. I notice, and I can't recall, that you're doing some work on the facade of the house that faces Main Street. And some of the brick is the red brick and some is painted, and what's going on there, or?
We have to repoint the brick, and we started stripping a section just to evaluate the brick, but it's going to be repainted. The same color.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something that we're trying to concentrate on the porch, just making sure that we have the permits and everything.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do the main roof on the house as well as repainting. So we're hoping to look 100% shortly.
That's fine.
By the end of summer, hopefully.
The other question I'll ask about that side is, I notice you're, and I'm going to apologize, I'm not going to get the right term of art, but the piece that goes across the top of one of the windows that you've exposed, I see there's like an axe head in there. Was that there when you opened that up? That was.
No, that was a temporary, I don't know what. I can't take credit.
I thought maybe it was an old Collins Company axe. I was going to ask if you were going to keep it. Okay.
I have a question.
We have a piece of brownstone that was going to be cut to fit in there, but everything's going to be painted the same color.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I guess I'll just ask one question more generally to our commissioners. And again, I apologize, Ted, if I'm relying, or Jim, actually anybody, if I'm relying on you too much, but the fiberglass for the columns, we're comfortable with that?
Yes, they last forever. I have a question on the beadboard though, after that.
Oh, go ahead.
So the question on the beadboard, it's individual beadboards, or is it sheets of plywood that look like beadboard?
It's regular wooden beadboard.
Okay, good. That's good. That'll look great. And Jay, back to those columns. Yeah, I've used them, and they look great. They last forever.
Yeah, I agree. You can't tell the difference between that and a wood column.
Okay, I know we need to be practical and again, I assume I know the answer, but is there anybody else that's on the line? And anybody that'd like to make a comment or question?
There's no one else on the line, Jay.
Okay, Mark, you've been in sort of the middle of this as it is, so you probably raised anything you wanted to, but is there anything you wanted to clear up?
You've heard everything I had about this, and it's going to be a nice improvement. It really is.
Okay. Hearing no other questions or comments, do I have a motion to again approve the application as submitted with the as outlined by Mark, the requirement that they provide photos of the proposed materials that will then be circulated and approved?
I'll make a motion that we grant a temporary certificate of appropriateness for 99 Main Street as submitted, and also pending the description of the material list.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Further discussion on the motion?
Just a question, is this with a straight rail or with the dipped rail?
Great.
Straight rail, okay.
Great.
Before we vote, just checking, the applicant, you're fine with that? It's the straight rail, correct?
Is the applicant fine with the straight rail?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? If I didn't hear you, any opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye now.
Why don't we do the minutes and then we'll ask if there's any other business. So the minutes were sent around as usual by Sandy right after the meeting, which is always nice, or Sandy and or Mark. I think people had a chance to look at them. Are there any comments on the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Mark, why don't you, do you have anything you wanted to bring up, the staff report or other business?
I don't have anything, Jay, just generalities. It's extremely busy. We haven't stopped. The construction industry has been going along full tilt. The homeowners that have had to stay home have had time to reflect on just what it is they can do with their yards. And so we've been very, very busy with permitting. And it may seem insignificant, but it's really keeping us hopping. Notably, we've been working with the governor's executive orders to try to help restaurants open their patios and to allow them to the extent that the executive orders permit, essentially open temporary patios where they wouldn't normally be otherwise be permitted. So we're working with 4 applicants right now. We're going back and forth with a flurry of applications. We understand that there are applicants out there opening some patios up that have not applied through our new designed temporary permit process, but we'll try to bring them on board. You know, it's really for them to be able to have some sort of review to make sure that safety issues and health issues are being addressed. Enforcement is essentially up in the air. We really don't know how social distancing is or even can be enforced. Certainly not a zoning issue. So we're still feeling our way through a little bit. That's what I've got for you right now.
Thank you, Mark, for doing that.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just say that, you know, I've been impressed that the town, Mark and Sandy and the staff in the town have been able to continue to conduct so much business as they have under these difficult circumstances. And I'd extend that to all the people on this call, the commissioners being willing, able to get on the computers and that and make accommodations. We all would agree this is best done in person, but it's good that we're keeping the gears moving here as much as we can until we are able to do that again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jay, for running a tight meeting there.
Yes.
Oh, that's excessive, sorry. So let me then just quickly ask, I won't get Paul, I'll just throw it open, but is there any of the commissioners have anything that they wanted to ask, bring up while we're at 5 more minutes plus?
I do.
Jay?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. Well, hearing that, again, thank you guys all, and meeting's adjourned, and hopefully soon we'll be meeting in person.
4:48. Well done.